Hey, what's up guys, it's Tal here, and this is the UMIDIGI Z2. It's one of UMIDIGI's 2018 smartphones, and I got it on Jumia for around 89,000 naira. The phone has a notch display, which is sort of the trend that has people torn now. It has a gradient glass look on the back, which looks strikingly close to what we had on the Huawei P20 Pro. It's got an aluminium build and it runs stock Android 8.1.0. In this video, I'll be unboxing this device and giving my review on it as well. So without further ado, let's get to the video. So when you open the box, the first thing you get is this thank you note from UMIDIGI, and on the back you have the link to their special giveaway of the Z2 on their social media pages. The next thing we get in the box is the phone with a soft touch feeling rubber case, which looks great and is definitely an important addition because of the design of this device. You also get an envelope, and inside it you get the same ejector pin. You also get the Z2's manual, and underneath that we get this red and black charging cable, which looks nice and sturdy. And since the Z2 doesn't have a headphone jack, we have a 3.5mm to USB-C adapter. It's dongle wall right now. Last thing we get in the box is the 5 to 9 volt fast charger, which I'll actually be talking about much later in the video. When you take the wrap off the front of the Z2, we still have a plastic screen protector on it, and when you take the soft case and wrap off the back of the device, we're greeted with this very interesting looking gradient back. It's really reflective, and of course a fingerprint magnet. Build quality is solid on here, as you have solid glass up at the front and on the back, and the sides are aluminum without antenna lines, and I must commend the choice of materials here. Setting up the Z2 was quite fast, taking less than a minute to set up, and we're greeted with the 6.2 inch 2246 by 1080p display with a PPI of 404, and this device runs on stock Android with no bloatware and little customizations, which is a plus for me. In front of the Z2 we've got 16+8 megapixel cameras, which take very sharp selfies when it's bright. We have a receiver for phone calls, which is quite small, and I didn't notice any notification LEDs come on here during my usage. But to the far left we have a light sensor. Also, when you look down you have a chin with capacitive buttons for which you can switch the back button to either the left or the right, whichever side you so desire. And on the glass back we have the dual cameras, which are the same size as the front camera, with flash, and a somewhat huge fingerprint sensor, which we'll talk about in a bit. And lowering our gaze we have the UMIDIGI branding and some other markings. On the right of the device we have the power button and the volume markers, and we see the antenna lines which are all around the phone. On the left of the phone we have the hybrid dual nano SIM slot, which isn't dual anymore when you add a micro SD card. On top we have a hole, which is the first microphone, and on the bottom we have a second microphone port, the speaker grid which only sounds on the right side, and the USB-C slot. Overall build quality on this guy is pretty solid, like I mentioned. Next thing I'll be talking about on this device is the display. It's a 1080p display, as I mentioned earlier, and it's an LED panel. It's not the most amazing of displays out there, but it does the job just fine. Video playback is okay, and depending on the content you're consuming, for instance games, it is immersive. I did like how well utilized the screen is despite that notch, and they did a good job of hiding it well for the most part. The Z2 has a notch just like the iPhone 10, and it has a much noticeable change compared to it. About using the Z2 day to day, I will be telling you exactly what I feel about this device. In the performance department, I really liked that this phone felt very snappy to use. You know, the animations were fast, and I clicked something and it went there immediately. This alone would make me recommend this device. It is stock Android with little customizations here and there, and one example of this customization is pressing and holding the fingerprint sensor to take a screenshot, which saves a lot of time. But it can also be counterintuitive when you want to unlock the device and you can take multiple screenshots by mistake. However, I left this on because it's super useful to me. There are numerous things you can do with the fingerprint sensor, like take a photo, receive calls, open music, multitask, but you can use only one function at a time, which is kind of a bummer for me. Speaking of the fingerprint, it's not the only way to unlock the Z2. You can unlock the Z2 with your face or Face ID, and even though it doesn't always work, you can fall back to the fingerprint sensor, and as far as the speed of that, you can expect something about like 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds to unlock. With regards to specs, we have the MediaTek 6763 processor and Helio P23 graphics chip with 6GB of RAM and 64GB of storage. Running the benchmarks on here showed Geekbench at 681 for the single core score and 3647 for the multi-core score, which is in close comparison to something like the Xiaomi Mi 5, which has 3721 on its multi-core score, and the Xiaomi device comes with a Snapdragon 820 chip. And total scores are pegged at 84,204, which has an okay CPU and GPU rating and an average memory and user experience. Gaming on the Z2, as I mentioned in the display side of things, was quite immersive. Also, after playing a game like PUBG for over an hour, I noticed that there was a little warmness all over the device, but it quickly disappeared after my gaming section. And the second thing I noticed was that the game really lags in the medium setting. It was smooth in the lower setting, but I wasn't even allowed to use the high settings on the game. During my use, a thing I noticed with the notch is that I'm taking quite a while to get to the notification center, and I had to swipe down repeatedly because of that. You also don't get to see your battery percentage and other notification icons or shortcuts. You still have to swipe down to get the full notifications. And compare this to another stock Android device without a notch, you can get a clear picture of what I mean. I also got an update for the 11th of July on the phone, which was running the May version, so that is a good sign. Quick updates are always a good sign. The Z2 has a global 4G connectivity, but throughout my usage I wasn't able to experience that. I guess it's probably because of my mobile networks or just my location. However, browsing and calling were good. Battery life on the Z2 is quite promising as well. It has a 3860 mAh battery and I had about 6 hours of heavy use with it, but standby time was also decent as well. However, using this phone won't get you through till the end of the day without having to plug it in. And speaking of plugging it in, the Z2 comes with a big charger that charges the device by 25% in every 20 minutes approximately. And I also did a full charge in less than an hour. And I also did notice that the device got quite warm to the touch when I was charging it directly from the wall socket. However, I didn't notice anything of the sort when I charged it with a laptop. About the camera of the Z2, we're rocking the same set of cameras on the front and back. That's 16 plus 8 megapixel f2.0 camera on the front and 16 plus 8 megapixel f2.0 camera on the back. I do have mixed reactions, however. As far as the pictures go, the maximum image resolution is quite high, and here are the numbers, and the video resolution is also the same, it's stuck at 1080p. I must say that the selfies are definitely sharp. It kind of looks over sharpened in a way, but the picture quality is generally good. You'll definitely need to have stable hands to get decent picture and video on here. And the fact that it comes with stock Android OS gives us access to things like Google Lens within the Google Photos app, an interesting feature, and that's pretty much my take on it. All in all, I really think this device is worth looking at, although it's got a lot to consider for what you're getting, like the notch, which is annoying for some, the fact that it's slipperier and it's a fingerprint magnet with all that tall screen which would require 2 hands to operate properly, Face ID that is not as fast, fingerprint sensor that is not as fast, but past that there's something to look for in here. Do let me know your thoughts about this device in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let's have a conversation. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.